How you doing, man?
Two. How you going, guys? Are you out of your Vulcan minds? Don't pander to me, one tiny crack in the hull, this thing boils in 30 seconds flat.
Alright, so
Or something like that. I know I got the words wrong.
today's event is all about the fans, so of course you guys will be getting a chance to ask questions, so use your diaphragm, it's a big room, and shout. And I'll just start warming things up at first. So, man, when I grew up, my first exposure to you was Xena. Does everyone remember this guy as Cupid? So, my question, when you were playing that, did you ever imagine that you would play such iconic roles like Dredd, in Lord of the Rings, and then in Star Trek?
No.
So I mean, as an actor for you, was it just coincidental that you started getting all these genre-type roles?
You know, it's just like one thing led to another, really. Interestingly enough, you know, a lot of the people who worked on Xena and Hercules and shows like that then went on to work on Lord of the Rings, so it was a great kind of training ground if you were.
Right on, so we're going to open up the floor. Question. Oh, look how fast you were, right there.
Frank, you want to hear about it? You guys want to hear about Frank? Okay. I'll just preface, can you see down there? I'll just preface this story by saying I was extremely jet lagged at the time. So we'd been shooting at this facility called NIF, which is some nuclear ignition facility in San Francisco, where they shoot laser beams into a particular spot and do all sorts of amazing scientific things, which I have no idea. But the place looked amazing. Anyway, they'd been shooting there for a week, and so I turn up to set, and you know, we went for drinks the night before, and the guys are like, "Oh, you have to do that public service announcement tomorrow." And I'm like, "Oh, what's that?" She said, "Oh, you know, just because we're shooting at NIF, you know, and we have to do that, and oh, we have to wear this cream as well because there's a low dose of neutron radiation that's emitted from the plant." I'm like, "Really?" Like, yeah, it's harmless. Okay. So I went to work the next day, and I started talking to my makeup artist, Gina. She's 60 years old. She lied to me. So I was a bit iffy about this. I said, "What's the story with this neutron radiation?" She goes, "Oh, yes, no, we all, you know, all the crew, you know, everybody has to take the pills." Oh, okay, all right, fine. So I get called to set, and I wasn't wearing the cream, and I was a little bit nervous about it, but I thought, well, it's a block through, and what we do when we shoot something is we do a block through to work out how we're going to shoot the scene, what we're going to do in the scene, and then they light it, we come back. Well, block throughs normally take 15 minutes max. This was like the longest block through in the history. It's like we were in there for an hour, and I started to feel ill. I could have sworn I was getting radiation poisoning, and it was really pissing me off. So anyway, I came back, and then they put all these like dots over my face, this neutron cream. They had a little tub with neutron cream written on it. They did a very good job. And so I walked back on set, and I'm with John Schultz. You know, he's working this for the first time at this location as well. He's got dots all over his face. Right? They went and had me talk to the international press who were there. They were in on it. So we're working there through the day, and then all of a sudden the DP, Tommy Gorman, goes, "All right, ladies and gentlemen, come on, let's shake it out. Let's shake those neutrons out." And so suddenly the whole crew starts doing this. You know, shaking, and so you start doing that too, and it's like, no, apparently you have to shake the neutrons out, it really helps. So anyway, after lunch, I went back to my trailer at lunch, I had lunch, and I was really not feeling very well by this point, and I was seriously pissed off at why my health was in such jeopardy for shooting a movie. I was getting radiation poisoning. So we came back after lunch and they had us do this public service announcement. And they had these big sort of billboard cards for John Cho and I to read out. And it said things like, we just want you to know that despite what you've heard out there in the community, that NIF is really safe. And I'm like, what is this place? This is insane. So we were reading a thing, and like the last couple of lines on the second to last card basically said, and most importantly of all, we want you to know that you've been, and then they pulled the last card away and they went, had. Nice one. So everyone thought it was hilarious. JJ was laughing, the whole cast was laughing, rolling around. And apparently how the whole thing started was obviously Simon Pegg turned to Chris Pine in the makeup chair on the first day and said, oh, you know, have you got your neutron cream? He's like, hey, neutron cream? Yeah, there was radiation, you know, so, and he had Pine going for like 10 minutes and he thought it was hilarious, like, well, let's get the next person. So then, you know, progressively through the week, it got more and more elaborate. When Benedict Cumberbatch came on for his day, they made him sign a disclaimer, which he didn't read. Because if he had read it, it said, after a whole bunch of legal gobbledygook, that there is no radiation emitted from this facility and I'm a complete idiot for signing this. He just signed it and they thought, oh, he didn't even read it. So then at lunchtime, JJ called everybody together and said, look, there's been a few violations, people not wearing their cream and taking the pills. And he started reading out this document, because actually, we should get Benedict, you've got a very sonorous voice, you read this out. So he read out the document he signed. When he got to that bit of, and I'm a complete idiot for, he's like, oh. But I just want to say, even though I got Pine first. Because the night before, we went out for drinks at the hotel that we were in, and came time to get the bill. And we were all staying on the same floor, it was like the third story. And I was like, I'll get that. And so the bill came along, and so I just put like a room number. Not my room number. On the check, 326. Thank you very much. And everyone's like, oh, thanks, mate. Thanks for those drinks. Cheers to that. Hey, no worries, no worries. And I'm sitting there for a while, you know, oh, hey, so what room are you in? Oh, 317. Oh, yeah, Zach, yeah, 320. Chris, what room are you in? 326. Cheers, mate. He's good for it. Simon Pegg will keep. I'm going to get him. I will get him back. I have a long memory. I want to tell you a little story about a friend of mine, Viggo Mortensen. Middle of the night, it's like 3 in the morning, the phone goes, and it's my agent, absolutely hysterical. Carl, you got to get on the plane. You've got to get on the plane. I'll buy you some red socks. You must get on the plane. The studio will freak out if you don't make it. You know, you're shooting on Monday, you got to get on the plane. I'm like, Jenny, whoa, what's going on? She said, what do you mean? She said, what do you mean? I said, well, what are you talking about? She goes, the red socks. I'll buy you more red socks. I'm like, what the are you talking about? Silence. Viggo. Viggo had called her up in the middle of the night and said, pretending to be me, going, Jenny, I'm not getting on the plane. I can't find my lucky red socks. I'm not getting on the plane. I'm not going. Fast forward 10 years. I'm in Spain doing press for Dread. Viggo's in Spain doing press for his movie called Earn Plan. I'm speaking to the press on Tuesday, he's speaking to them on Wednesday. So the press come in, all day long I'm talking to the press, and this is what I say. After my interview, I'm going, yeah, I've got the day off tomorrow. Yeah. And they're like, oh, what are you going to do? We go, oh, I'm going to go and visit my mate Viggo. He's got a new farm, a goat farm. He's got 10,000 goats. He's making goat cheese in Segovia. So I said this to every single journalist, just like after the interview, off the cuff. It made the televised national news. Viggo Mortensen buys goat farm in Segovia. So the next day he goes into his press. No one wanted to talk about his film. They all wanted to know about the goat farm. He was so pissed. At the end of it, he stopped denying and saying, yes, I do have a goat farm. I like the spotted goats because their cheese is sweeter and they fart less. Simon Pegg will keep.
Amazing. Oh, before we get to the next question, just got a note for the people, stop taping, including press, so sorry guys. So next question, this guy has been holding up his arm for so long. Yeah?
All right. You did? In the movie you did? Just for him. In the movie I say, Mama is not the law. I am the law.
You were there in the denim shirt.
I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, there are certain elements that I take away. Steel. Like my Starfleet insignia, I nicked that in the first movie. Plus my Starfleet ring, I took that as well. But how much do I take away? Well, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, you know, as far as Bones goes, it's a character that's very close to my heart. You know, I grew up watching Star Trek and being a fan of it. You know, Star Trek, Star Wars, all of that sort of stuff. And but Star Trek particularly, I have fond memories of watching it with my dad. And so it was very important to me. And when I heard that they were rebooting it, I really wanted to be a part of it. And because I had just watched the complete box set with my son. And so yeah, it was something that I didn't have to go and after that, before the sort of the audition, I didn't have to go and have a look at what DeForest did, because I just felt that I knew it. I knew the character, I knew the archetypes, I knew the relationships, what they meant. And I think basically myself and Simon Pegg are the only members of the cast that really kind of knew about the old series. And I guess my approach to the character was, it was important to me as a fan that if I was going into the movie theatre, that I see some semblance of what the late great DeForest Kelley had done. I would feel gypped if I went in there and I didn't see a recognisable Bones. And so that for me that was the challenge, was how to kind of incorporate sort of some of the wonderful elements that that DeForest injected into that character, and then at the same time make it my own and my interpretation of what a younger version of that character is. So that was the challenge, and it was freaky at times because you didn't always necessarily know. Well, I didn't always necessarily know the first time around where that line was between doing sort of, I guess, incorporating the essence of it and then going too far and doing an imitation, because I did not want to do that. But I think it turned out pretty well. I try not to take the characters home. Sometimes it's harder than others. I was absolutely miserable on Dread. I was working out 3 hours a day, and then that costume was not the most comfortable costume that I've ever worn, and it kind of puts you in a mood. So it's hard not to take that home.
Cool, right in the aisle right here. Yeah.
I love it. Cupid from Xena was a fun character. It was, you know, again, you know, a lot of hard work, and they glued these wings to my back. And the first costume that they made for me didn't have any mechanism in it for me to go to the toilet. Guys, we've got a little issue here. Just need to sort this out, which they did. But that was also, I mean, you know, at the end of doing, you know, Cupid for a week, you've got sort of welts and stuff all over your back, because it's basically, you know, the glue is just, you know, causing issues. But I learned something very interesting on that, actually. I learned that the power of positivity. I knew that there was no point in me complaining about the pain and discomfort that I was in, because nobody could do anything about it. And so I just made up my mind to be positive and put positive energy out there. And I was really quite amazed at what came back to me from doing that. It was on the back of that Rob Tabb had offered me Caesar, the role of Caesar. And yeah, and I think, you know, obviously, you know, a bunch of other stuff sort of, you know, really came from that. So yeah, it was a great experience. I'm very proud of it.
Right there behind the tie-dye baby.
Bad boys have more fun. Right? You know, it was always fun to play those characters on the darker side of life. They dare to do and say the things that, you know, we can't in real life. But I think the challenge, I think, to portraying a successful villain is not to make him some stereotypical twirl-the-moustache bad guy. You have to know why he's doing what he's doing, and I think that's one of the reasons why Benedict Cumberbatch, his performance in Star Trek was so amazing, because you were enamored by him, you cared for him, you felt empathy for his plight, and then he turned and became a monster, and then you felt had, and it was so genius. So yeah, it's that. Thank you.
Right over there, is that a Batman? Yeah, Batman. There you are.
I was just wondering, in terms of like your character in the Chronicles of Riddick and where like he started off as, and where he's going to be in the next movie, where do you like how do you think he's evolved?
Ben Affleck, ladies and gentlemen. See you around. Thanks, Ben. I'm a huge fan of yours. My character in the next Chronicles, I was actually shooting Star Trek at the time, and so I just did a cameo. I came in for one day, and how shall I say this? I helped get Riddick off the ship. And set him on course to his new adventure. And I'm looking forward to seeing it. I've seen a bit of the footage, and it looks amazing. And of course, you know, having the opportunity to work with Ben is always great. I really love him. He's a brother. And David Tui's a fantastic director, very, very specific, and we had a great time. It was really wonderful just getting back together after all those years and you know, getting to hang with them for a day in their playground. Thank you.
Foam finger in the middle.
I'd probably be good. Are you out of your Vulcan mind? I like that. What else? I like, how do you want it, kids? Or Hot Shot. Like those. I mean, Roberto Orsi and Alex Kurtzman are amazing writers. And, you know, I mean, you know, lines like, space is full of disease and danger wrapped in darkness and silence. I mean, that's great writing.
Foam finger in the back.
If you could come to one of these conventions
You.
Oh, that was yours.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah. Yep, you were in the red.
Oh, not you. With the flowers, you. I'll get to you. Wow, that's really hard. I have been asked that question a few times, and it's, you know, it'd be like asking them, you know, a parent which is their favourite child, and it's so difficult because you invest so much time, energy, and love into these characters. And I can say, you know, roles that I'm particularly proud of, obviously, is, you know, Bones in Star Trek, Dread. There's a lot of hard work that went into that. I had a great time working with Matt Damon on The Bourne Supremacy. That was a good time. So yeah, that's. Oh, and of course, I did a small independent film back in New Zealand. You probably haven't seen it. It's called Lord of the Rings. That was a good one too.
The red.
It's not actually true, but I like where your head's at. No, I didn't. Look, dude, you know, I was shooting Almost Human and committed to doing that and Star Trek, and you know that the Batman role I think was sewn up by Ben and his team months and months and months ago, and you got to understand that he's has a long-standing relationship with Warner Brothers, not only as an actor but a director, and you know, I can totally see the business sense to why they went there, and it's going to be interesting to see what he does with it. And I thought Christian did a great job, he really did. Oh, I'm not going to argue with you. I can't wait to see what they do. I can't wait to see what they do. It's going to be interesting.
Girl with the blue sweater.
Thank you. That's a very good question. Obviously, a long-term fan, and so am I. Obviously, JJ's iteration of it is different than what's come before. It's a different universe, and I guess the weight and balance of that triumvirate is we're only just really starting to see a glimpse of that. I mean, I think we had one scene where we had a proper triumvirate scene with Kirk, Bones, and Spock on the bridge. And I certainly, would hope that from this point, since they're at the beginning of their 5-year mission, that we start to see kind of more of that. Because you're right, that was the very heart and soul of the original show. But I love what JJ has done. I think that he's made it more accessible to new fans, and I think that's really important for the continuing longevity of Star Trek. And and I certainly know that the writers, Robert Orsi and Alex Kurtzman, are Star Trek fans themselves. So, from this point going forward, I'm really excited to see, what they do. And I certainly, it is my hope that that specifically for the character of Bones, that I get to see, or that we get to see him, take on. I guess more of the role that he portrayed traditionally as like a conciliary to Kirk and a friend, and not just an inferred friendship. I certainly would like to see that.
Gentleman in the black shirt.
Yeah, what my favourite quote would be, I'm a doctor, not a swimsuit model. Did you see it? Those, like the wetsuit picture? Bones in it? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Blonde.
I can neither confirm nor deny that Chris and I were stuffing stuff down our wetsuits. That's just a rumour.
Blonde girl, right there. You go.
I think we shot that for about 2 weeks. Yeah, it was a challenge. It was a lot of fun, and I actually seriously injured myself doing that. Some move crunched my neck, and it affected my ability to train for dread, so I had to get that sorted out. So that was something I took home with me. But a lot of fun. You know, I had a lot of fun working on Red. I mean, John Malkovich. You know, Bruce, Helen Merriman, what an amazing cast. I tell you this funny story about Malkovich coming through customs in the States, because he's so versatile. He designs clothes and does operas and stuff. But anyway, he's got this clothesline. He was coming through customs. And the customs officer said, what are these worth? And Malkovich said, well, that's an existential question. Because, you know, I design these clothes, I like them, they have a value to me, but if nobody buys them, they're not worth shit. Customs officer confiscates the entire line. Obviously didn't know what existential meant.
Girl with red hair, right there. I think that's a brony shirt. Okay.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's a great question. Wow, I don't know. I don't know. I never really know what I want to do until the script lands on my desk. And then I sort of, you know, start reading it and form an attachment to the character, the situation, the story. So I feel pretty blessed to, you know, obviously to have the opportunity to play Bones and to have done Dread. I think, you know, for me to want for anything else would be kind of greedy. There's some pretty iconic characters right there. And Amo was a little film I did back in the day. So I just really don't know. Thank you.
Young lady, the trekker in the blue dress.
Hey. Science department, the best. Oh, thank you. Good question. I really liked the Corbomite maneuver. I like that one. I like because it was early on in the series, and it's just great character dynamics there. And what else did I like? Balance of Terror. I like that. And I like the one where they went, I don't know the name of it, but they went back in time to get McCoy because he went through some... Yeah, City on the Edge, yeah. City, what was it called? City? Correct. I like that one. But yeah, I mean, I could watch the original series in a marathon all weekend long. Do you want to watch with me?
Guy with the stick, with the